starving artist. Before we get going, recognition for a job well done. Give it up for your host and MC, Emily Grace. Destroying it! This is so good. You guys have been amazing. Give yourselves a round of applause for being amazing. I'm in such a good mood. Has anyone ever seen me before? Yeah. Would it be safe to say I'm usually fairly miserable? Yeah. I'm in a really great mood today because I saw the most uplifting story on social media. Some of you might have seen it this week. Yellowstone National Park. Amazing. It's an ecological disaster. There's no natural predators left. The deer population has exploded. It's called trophic collapse. Basically, the trees die, the grass is gone, the rivers silt up, the fish die. It's like the whole place needed Metamucil, right? But they fixed it. Do you know how they fixed it? Wolves. They introduced 14 wolves, and fucking 1 year later, miracle, it's fixed. The trees are growing, the grass is back, the rivers are flowing, the fish is there, birds, bears, beavers, everything's come back. It's like a Disney film. It's amazing. So good. I'm inspired. Can we release 14 wolves into the Australian property market? Just to see what happens. I'm keen. Just take him to an auction and get him on the scent of like R.M. Williams boots and a North Face jacket. And let nature take its course. That is an episode of House Flippers Australia that I would watch. Scott Cam scarpering up a tree. Fucking run, developers, run, investors, run! There's nowhere to hide. You know why? Because wolves, they hunt in packs. They use their strength in numbers to isolate the weak and the young so that they can dominate. Just like you do at fucking auctions! Fucking amazing. I want to see that shit. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. It's amazing. Look, fair enough. Okay, I might be going a little bit far, but I just love the Willy Wonka level of irony of watching a fucking landlord get eaten by dogs. Should have let us have a pet. Should have let us have a pet. How fucking poetic is this, Justice? You know that fucking single mum that has to live in her car because she couldn't get a pet-friendly rental? She's going to be fine, ironically enough, when the wolves come. She's going to be safe as houses. Die! People say that the reason we've got this problem is that there's a housing shortage. Like there's just not enough houses to go around. And I think that maybe we wouldn't have a housing shortage if maybe just all the tradies on TikTok just did their fucking jobs. Wouldn't that be amazing? Less TikTok, more fucking chop chop. Get into it. Build the house, then your audience, okay? You don't get to have your ice cream before dinner. Fucking muck in, get it done. You get on TikTok or any social media these days and anyone in high vis, it's fucking amazing. Everyone's learning dance routines and they got fucking little skits like the building union's been taken over by Bob Fosse. The fuck is going? This is what happens when the government doesn't support the arts during a pandemic. A lot of people putting their plan B in place right now. A lot of people on that fallback. You've got a lot of people who went to NIDA instead of TAFE, working on the building site, and now every scaffold is a stage! Doing a production of Rent. It's impossible to get a ticket. Maybe I'm just jealous. My first job in school when I was 14 years old was working as a builder's labourer. Different time. Trust me, if I had gone to work back then and said, "G'day fellas, who's ready for a big day?" Jono, nice story about the Tirana. So here's the thing. I've got a dance routine for us to all learn. Hear me out. It's pretty good. It's set to a Cardi B song. It's going to be good. And what we're going to do is we're going to film ourselves doing it, and then we're going to upload it to a global video network that's focused on teenagers, but it's actually full of dirty old men pretending to be teenagers. Who's up for it? They wouldn't have found my fucking body. I came from a different time, you know, when men were men and tradies were men, and nobody danced and nobody cried and they drank on the job, and if they wanted a bit of a giggle, they just set fire to an apprentice. That's the world I came from. Look, serious, I don't have a problem with it. People are just trying to have a laugh. It's great, it's fine, like that's good. Bring some mirth into the world. You know what my problem is? My problem is the fake tradies. These fucking Burnside Trust Fund kids whose parents own the building company, right? And they've just gone down to Totally Workwear and bought themselves a high-vis vest so that they can cash in on the trend and get some clout on the gram. You know, these cunts, you ever come across them? They're amazing. And they've always got the most pithy, insightful jokes, don't they? Things tradies would never say. Oh, you know it's going to be good. Don't you? Things tradies would never say. Oh, I reckon maybe I won't have iced coffee for breakfast. That's funny. The pathos. I have been joined to my fellow man, such as the power of that joke. Things tradies will never say. Or maybe the workplace radio is a bit loud at 6 in the morning. God's plan revealed. The veil of reality has fallen. I can read the green numbers of the Matrix with my naked eyes. Fuck off. You know what a tradie's never said? Oh, fuck, I just lost $5,000 on the Adelaide Fringe. That's something a tradie has never said. Unless the Adelaide Fringe is the name of a greyhound. Still a safer bet than the Adelaide Fringe. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. I mean, I know it's ridiculous to blame people at the coalface of a problem for a housing shortage. There's actually 1 million unoccupied dwellings in Australia right now. We're talking about a macroeconomic problem. We're talking about the fact that the market has been geared to favour extremely rich investors and fucking large property developers. That's the problem. When are we going to start talking about big property developers like the fucking parasites that they are? Yeah. Huh? When are we going to do it? They come into these communities and they buy up nice big family homes and they chop them up into shitty 6 versions of them where the eaves touch and nobody knows their neighbours and you can't have a dog. It's bullshit. The community just dies. They're like drug dealers. Like, not in the way that what they're doing is illegal, but just in the way that the way they deliver value is like a drug dealer. Because just like a drug dealer, they take something perfectly good and they chop it up. Into a heap shittier version of it, charge you an arm and a leg for it, and just like drugs, I'm going to have to suck a dick to get a house. I don't know why any of these young tradies want to be a celebrity. That doesn't... No. Do you know the kind of people that you have to share the celebrity world with? No. This is the state where Cozzy is a celebrity. Think about that for a few seconds. Like, that guy to me is the death of hope. He really is. Every time I go to the service station to fill up my car, I've still got that little pang of lefty guilt in the back of my mind. Just like, what are you doing putting this fucking planet-killing juice in your planet-killing car? We live in a perfectly good city. It's got public transport. You can walk everywhere if you wanted to. What are you doing, John? Be part of the solution. And then I look down and I see him staring up at me in that fucking sleeveless R.M. Williams vest. Winking, wearing a fucking fez, like the world's worst genie. Like somebody's rubbed a Powerade bong and this dickhead's popped out. I see that and I just think, fuck it, we deserve to burn. So I am a 43-year-old dad from Port Pirie. Give it up for Lou Duncan. How fucking good was that? She hasn't done comedy in 15 years. I know what you're all thinking, how the fuck did that happen? I'm hilarious and I eat pussy. There you go. True.
I really thought that before you came on stage. Now I get it.
Ah, there you go. The joke works when you repeat it. I do like an echo. No, I am from Port Pirie. Anyone here ever been?
No.
No one ever admits it. He's fucking mean. He's wiped it from his memory like a fucking neuralizer from Men in Black. That's what he's fucking done. Just a desk lamp and meth. If you blink enough, it'll fucking go away. It's a strange place. If you haven't been, I call it Mordor by the sea. It's just orcs and pollution. But somehow I love it. It's weird. Like, I don't know, it kind of... You're from Port Pirie, aren't you? There's a delay. So this is an STD call. It's on the Copper Network.
And we were talking about this today, how all the equipment gets cleaned daily and they provide fruit for the kids to like pay them off. He doesn't work in lead poisoning.
What's it? So there's equipment that's cleaned and we're
The
paying...
school kids, the school equipment at the schools, all the play equipment.
They say that Port Pirie leads to brain damage. It's so much more. So much more. Thank you, though. I will make sure that my son doesn't get recruited into some kind of minimum wage fruit cleaning scam in Port Pirie. I don't know. I actually put off doing comedy. I've been doing this for about 20 years, and I put off doing comedy for all those 20 years because I just didn't want to go back, because failing in a town that's built on failure is... Man, it's a thing to have hanging over your head. I'll end up cleaning playground equipment so that... It was amazing though. Went back to this pub and we did a show there. And that was so nice, but I've got to say, I have never seen drunker people in my entire life. Like, this was like a Boris Yeltsin appreciation festival. Just unfucking believable. But they were so nice. They were so nice to us, but they were so fucking drunk. Just amazing. There was one guy he was through the whole show, he would get up and he'd walk off to the side and he'd turn like fucking Tetris. And he'd walk this way, and he'd walk this way. And he'd go get beers because it was so fucking packed, right? And over the space of the show and drinking about 40 fucking beers, like David Boone level effort, right? Come the end of the show, he's too drunk to notice the show is finished. The room is now empty. And he gets up, pure muscle memory, stands up, no one around him, and just goes... like an alcoholic Roomba. Just... Never seen anything like it. He comes back, this is the best part, he comes back, 4 pints of beer. Comes around this way, comes back that way, steps forward, trips on his own foot, spills all 4 beers all over himself, goes, "Sorry, mate." No one around him. There was a guy before the show, I went to school with him. He was fuck-eyed drunk and he was loud, right? I was like, no, I've got to nip this in the bud. I'm going to go see him. I remember him from school. I'm going to talk to him, get this out of the way. We're going to fucking make sure this is all sorted. I don't need him yelling out during the show. I go up to him. I go, "Ben, good to see you." He just goes, Oh, fuck it, I don't know you, mate. I go, well, you know my dad, because my dad was in charge of all the blood testing at the lead smelter. Right? Probably cleaned a few playgrounds, but he was like in charge of the blood testing. They called him Butcher Bill. Every single person had to go through my dad. Every single person knew him. This bloke goes, I know your dad. What's your dad's name? I'm like, Bill. Nah. What's your fucking dad's name? I know your dad. My dad's name is Bill. Nah, it's not. What? What's your fucking dad's name? His mates at this point have just gone, fucking careful, Ben. This looks like it hurts. Don't think too much. Nah, mate, I know your dad's name. What's your fucking dad's name? Don't fucking tell me what's your dad's name. Okay, my dad's name is Bill Brooks. Butcher Bill. You'd know him as Butcher Bill. Bill Brooks. And he goes, Alan. Drunk. Fucking incredible. I'll leave you with a story about some fucking regrettable shit I did. Why not? Fucking Emily's done it as well. So. Before I ever did comedy, my actual trade is as a journalist. No one's doing that as a fallback, by the way. That's a fucking shitty trade to have. No one's ever just said, hey man, can you write me a hate article? They've said that. I need to go clean playgrounds in Port Pirie. I was in charge of a tiny country newspaper in the middle of the desert. I was the only person who worked on it. Spoiler alert, not much shit happens in the bush. It's hard to fill a newspaper every single week, right? So you've got to get a little bit creative if you want to do that. I'll give you an example. One time I was walking to work and I noticed that a woman on the end of my street, she had garden gnomes that were painted in Port Power gear, and she had garden gnomes that were painted in Crows gear. Hello, local showdown angle. I did that, front page. Right? That's how little happened in this town. Now, for context, you need to know that the town had a really serious problem with crime. Okay? But the way that the police would deal with that was to just not tell anyone about it. All right? It's kind of like having a small dick and hoping that nobody notices if you leave the lights off. Okay? That's it. Yeah, people are going to find out, okay, and they're going to be disappointed. Well, maybe not. Depends how good you are. Anyway, the cops fucking hated me because I was always asking about what was going on. They wouldn't tell me. This horrible relationship. Until one weekend, Friday night, we were about to go to print. The cops ring me up and just go, John, we got a problem. Some little fuckhead has driven their car onto the town oval, done a bunch of circle work, and they've ruined the playing surface on the football fucking ground, mate. Not fucking good enough. Front page. I want you to tell everyone that we're going to catch the people that did this. No mercy. They've messed with the wrong people, John. Front page. Fucking do it. I was like, yes, Senior Sergeant. Absolutely, Senior Sergeant. Not a problem. Front page. I promise you it's coming. I hang up. Now, what the cops didn't know is that I didn't give a fuck about someone doing circle work on the local oval. The only reason they cared is because that weekend was the footy finals and all the local cops played footy, right? So their home ground advantage was gone. But it's like, no, you got to do it. So it's like, yep. The other thing they didn't know was that inside this bored, shitless country journo was the kernel of a stand-up comic waiting to germinate. And this was Summer Rain. Still the funniest thing I've ever done. Great big black letters. Police sick of donuts. For the first time in that newspaper's history, we sold out. People were buying souvenir copies for their friends and family, posting it all over the state. Everywhere I went, high fives, back slaps, beers bought for me. Great one, Jono, fucking hilarious. Whole town was laughing. Except the cops. Their revenge was swift and brutal. At first, they started targeting my friends, right? So the people I'd normally ring up to get news stories, they'd go, I can't talk to you, John, because the cops have told me they're going to stop protecting my store. Like, that's it, it's done. My friends would get hassled, like just on the street. Where are you going? What's John doing? Like that kind of bullshit, like fucking full illegal kind of stuff, right? The pub, when I went in there, they said, you have to leave. I was like, why? And they said, because the cops are going to put an RBT out the front tonight if you're in here and no one's going to come. Like, it was that bad, right? But fucking, it was worth it. Because for 1 week, one beautiful week, the local Aboriginal population got to live unmolested because all the police attention was on me. I'm a civil rights hero, I don't think you know that. But eventually they got me, right? Because like all young bogans from Port Pirie, the only thing I loved was cars, right? And I used to have a 1978 Valiant Regal LeBaron, and I spent all my fucking money on that car. All my money. It was a V8, and it had jelly bean rims, and a Sound 4 stereo, and it was fucking choice. Spent all my money on that car. It was my pride and joy, and the cops knew to get me, they had to get that fucking car. And I remember coming home one night, it was after the big day out in 2003. I'm on the highway going north, I am in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? Cops from miles behind are chasing someone who's doing 120 through a 40k an hour roadwork zone, which I'm in, doing 40. Cops go past, see me, let the dude keep speeding, come back, pull me over. Motorbike cop, right? He gets off the bike like he's the fucking T1000. Right? It's his moment to shine. You ever seen someone who clearly has erectile dysfunction? Right? The badge and his authority was Viagra to this dude. He comes fucking stomping back towards me. Right, and you know, I could see him fucking practicing his little line that he was going to use on me, because he comes up, he fucking taps on the window, roll the window down, up comes the visor. He looks in and he just goes, I hear you're in the market for a new car, John. I said, no, I'm not. He said, tonight you are. 148 defects later. Ran out of room on the windscreen for the yellow stickers, right? He may as well have just started at the back and just drew a red line to the front of my car that just said, no! Right? Completely written off. I could never drive the thing again. He somehow busted me for air conditioner leaks in the dark. How the fuck does that work? Right? And I just remember standing there and he wanted to be my friend. Like, he's done fucking me and now he wants to talk and like make nice. It was weird. He's like, so you know why we've done this, don't you, John? I was like, fuck yeah, I've got an idea. He goes, learned your lesson now, haven't you? Fucking clearly I have. I'm 70 k's out from town. I'm in the middle of nowhere. This is pre-mobile phones. He's had to call me a tow truck, which I have to pay for at my expense. It's going to take 4 hours to come and get me, right? He turns around, looks at me, gets on his bike, knowing I'm going to be standing there in the middle of the fucking desert, vulnerable, with no car and no way of getting home until someone else comes and gets me. He's fucked me completely. He looks at me and just goes, you know, when I was fucking young and started on the force, we used to have these cars. They fucking go all right, don't they? Off he goes. I was like, yeah, they go all right. They do pretty fucking good circle work on the oval, I can tell you that much. Because sometimes you've got to make your own news. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for having us tonight. Please welcome back to the stage the wonderful Emily Grace.